Hi everyone, it's Dr. Lepore, and I wanted to talk about creating your flexible career plan. So you know that your career is something that you have to manage. Okay? It's not going to happen without your action. So how many of you feel like this? Okay? Have you felt like this? Is this how you're feeling right now? Okay? If you look at this picture, it's when you got like 15 essays and 4 assignments and 6 exams to study for, and you just chill in bed contemplating your whole life. I think we've all been there. The problem is those 15 essays and 4 assignments and 6 exams are weighing so heavily on your mind that you're overwhelmed and you're not taking any action, which makes you feel actually worse. Rewards and rest are really good, but in this case, you'd probably feel better if you got some of those assignments and essays off your shoulders. So here's a trick to refocus your thoughts. If you take this diagram, you can actually make a list of everything you need to do, and you can fit them into the different spots. So some things that we should do or we want to do are not urgent and they're not important, meaning that there's really no time push to get it done. And if we don't get it done, it's not going to make any very large impact in our life or someone else's. Now, on the other hand, there are some things that are urgent and important, meaning that you've got to get it done right now, and if you don't get it done, it is going to affect things pretty negatively. Now, what I've noticed is the bottom one, not urgent but important, is where I tend to procrastinate. Okay, these are the things that, they have to get done, but if they don't get done this minute, it's not that big a deal. But time changes, the clock changes, and suddenly they shift up to that orange box, and then it's panic monster time. Okay? So I'd like you to make a list of everything you need to get done, and start to fit them in these boxes. Now, if you're not sure where to start, here's a list for this course. These are all different actions that you can take right now, or things you should do for your career. And you could fit them into these boxes. And some of these will be more urgent and more important than others for you. Okay? So think about where would they fit in the box and which ones you could get started on. So I want you to give yourself some permission to think about your career. Okay? Close your eyes, think about your future, think about the things you need to get done, and the list that I just showed you. Which of those tasks do you feel excited about? Which one is a small step you could take today? Which one could you do next week? Which one could you schedule for next month? Okay? Let's take these and plan them into our lives. Now, one of the things that tends to hold us back is our mindset. Mindset is so important to getting things done and feeling good, okay, about our lives. So there's 2 different types of mindsets that have been identified. One is a fixed mindset, one is a growth mindset. Okay? If you take a look at some of the words here, somebody with a fixed mindset tends to believe that their abilities are fixed, that it's something they're good at or something that they're not good at. Whereas somebody with a growth mindset figures, well, maybe I'm good at it or maybe I'm not good at it, but I could absolutely get better at it if I try. So to learn more about this, I'd like you to watch this video, which explains it pretty well. And then once you're done watching the video, come back to the presentation. Now that you've looked at the video, I want you to think of when you've had a fixed mindset and where you've actually been able to change it. It could be a challenge that you met with, I can never do this, I'm not good enough for this, I'm not capable of this. Or you could have been very defensive with a fixed mindset and came in, oh, this is dumb, oh, this is useless, oh, this is worthless. Because we do tend to try to defend, our feelings, okay, and our egos when we're challenged, right? So think about what those fixed mindset thoughts were like and what happened when you moved past them. Okay? Think about, do you still revert to a fixed mindset? When does that tend to happen? And how do you catch yourself? Because the thing about mindset is you can actually stop yourself in the middle of the thoughts. I've had students who've written post-it notes and hung them up because they know which words they're going to use against themselves. And they know that they're going to feel worse if they stay in a fixed mindset than if they take the risks and try to move beyond it. Now, one more thing that you want to work on as we start the ending of our course are SMART goals. You're going to want to have SMART goals ready, okay, for your future. And a SMART goal is one that is specific with enough detail that it is clear what you are trying to do, that is measurable, that has a way, dates or times or ability levels, some kind of a measurable aspect. So you can definitively say, yes, I met it, or no, I haven't. Because we're not really good at judging at gut level sometimes our performance. Make sure that they're attainable. We all have big goals that are just not attainable right now. They're long-term goals. And right now we want to talk about goals in the next, to start off with, at least in the next month, semester, or year. Make sure that the goal is attainable given where you are in your life. Are they relevant? Are these actually important things? Are they things that, connect to other aspects of your life? Because for a goal to really be smart, to be really useful, it's got to be relevant to what you're doing, okay, and what you want. And finally, goals need to be time-based, meaning that you need to not just have a time frame for them, but you need to know how much time you can allot to them, and you have to know when they need to be done by. So SMART goals become really important in strategic planning for your career. They're good for other things too. So when you're going to write a SMART goal, you want to address certain things like who is involved. Sometimes it's just you. Sometimes it's an entire team. Sometimes there are other people who are somewhat involved in your goal. Make sure you're clear on what you want to accomplish. Identify important things like locations and time frames and requirements and constraints. And be clear on your reasons and purpose and benefits of accomplishing the goal. It's not good enough to say, I want to be better. It's not measurable. It doesn't have a specific reason or purpose. It's going to be a lot easier to leave a goal that's non-specific and that doesn't really have a reason or benefit attached to it. It's easy to leave them behind. Think about like New Year's resolutions and how often people skip them. So here's 2 examples to get you started. Okay? So one goal is to research student clubs and other free resources to develop film editing skills needed for targeted internships and join a group before the end of March. Well, we could break this up. This student needs to research clubs, needs to research free resources online and in the community, wants to develop film editing skills needed for internships. Well, that means they need to research internships and know which film editing skills they're going to need. And then they're setting a goal to join a group before the end of the March. So that's the milestone. That is the deliverable at the end of this. But you can see that it's breaking into 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 actually, right? Because researching clubs and free resources, that's 2. Identifying editing skills, identifying potential internships so they know which skills, and join a group. That's like 5 different steps. Okay? So this is a SMART goal. It covers all our steps, but it also can be broken up into smaller goals that have smaller time frames to make this easier to track and measure. The second example, to improve my research skills, I will identify requirements and apply for a research program and look to do research in this program with this professor by October 1. So this one we can also break up. So this person is going to need to do some background research. They need to know who the professor is, and in this case, the sociology program. They're going to need to identify the requirements for the research program. They're going to need to do the application for the research program. And they've set a deadline of October 1, which is hopefully earlier than what the program is saying, because you want to have your packet in early, but you also, just in case things happen and you run later, but you also want to have time to make sure that you read it and that you're just not rushing through it. All right, so these are things that you want to get started on. Start evaluating your mindset. Think about, how you feel and how you can control your mindset moving into your job and internship search. And start to write out small goals. Okay? This is going to get you started on your strategic plan.